When I first saw the type of attacks Ukraine was launching against Russian forces, I couldn't believe my eyes. It's one thing to fight back and defend your land, but these combat missions were something else entirely. Nearly 9,000 Russian tanks and over 20,000 troops have reportedly been annihilated so far, a staggering number that left me speechless. And just when I thought I had seen it all, Ukraine's bold military tactics continued to unfold in ways that defied all expectations. Imagine flying an F-16 jet on your first major mission and setting a world record. You wouldn't, would you? Too busy wetting your bloody trousers. But not this guy. This Ukrainian pilot. He goes out there and does it. During a large-scale attack, he managed to destroy 6 enemy missiles in a single combat mission, an achievement that stunned military experts worldwide. 6. Can you imagine the sheer balls on this guy? Ukraine had fought for months to acquire F-16 fighter jets, with many nations reluctant to provide them. Typical. Nobody wants to commit, do they? Too busy looking out for their own interests. However, as the war intensified, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Norway finally agreed to supply a total of 49 jets. Critics claimed that training Ukrainian pilots to fly them would take years, but with help from 11 allied countries they defied expectations. They bloody showed them, didn't they? In December, the world witnessed what these jets and their pilots were capable of. As Russian forces launched an overwhelming assault with 200 drones and 94 missiles, this fearless pilot took to the skies. He didn't hesitate, didn't think twice. He just got in that cockpit and flew straight into hell. Locking onto targets with precision, he eliminated 4 missiles using his onboard weapons. 4 down, 2 to go. The pressure must have been immense, but he didn't crack. He didn't falter. Low on fuel and out of missiles, he was ordered to retreat. Can you imagine that? Being told to stand down when there are still enemy missiles in the air? But he wasn't done. He wasn't going to leave until every last one of those missiles was scrap metal. Spotting another enemy missile, he made a bold decision, flying dangerously close and using his 20mm cannon to take it down. The explosion was massive. It could have ripped his plane apart, but he survived, and with that, he had secured his place in history. Before the war, many underestimated Ukraine's ability to stand against Russia's advanced weaponry. They thought it would be a walk in the park, a bloody cakewalk, but they underestimated the Ukrainians. They underestimated their spirit, their ingenuity. Because necessity breeds innovation, and Ukraine's response was nothing short of genius. Enter the FPV drones, low-cost, makeshift kamikaze weapons, built using basic components and explosives. No fancy technology, no million-dollar contracts, just scrap metal, ingenuity, and a burning desire to send those Russian bastards back to Moscow in body bags. With a simple setup involving 2 drones, one for reconnaissance and another for attack, Ukrainian forces have been able to take out Russian tanks, supply trucks, and military bases. They're picking them off one by one like flies. It's a bloody massacre. The key to their success? These DIY drones use low-quality cameras that are nearly impossible for Russian electronic warfare systems to jam. They're too busy trying to fight a high-tech war, they don't even see these things coming. As a result, they've wreaked havoc on Russian forces, with over 50,000 reportedly in production. 50,000! They're churning them out like sausages. Now Russia is scrambling to copy this design, but Ukraine remains one step ahead. They're always one step ahead, these Ukrainians. They're like a chess player who can see 10 moves in advance. One of Ukraine's boldest moves came in the form of a surprise drone attack on Russian energy facilities. They didn't just hit them where it hurt, they went straight for the jugular. In a nighttime assault, a dozen Ukrainian drones targeted key refineries, setting them ablaze and plunging parts of Russia into chaos. The sky lit up like a Christmas tree, but there was nothing festive about it. This was payback. The largest refinery in southern Russia, which processed over 13 million metric tons of oil annually, was among the casualties. 13 million. Gone, up in smoke. Russia retaliated swiftly, launching counterstrikes, but the damage had already been done. They could fire all the missiles they wanted, but they couldn't undo what had been done. While both sides claimed victories in the aftermath, one thing was clear. Ukraine's ability to strike deep into Russian territory had shaken Moscow's confidence. They thought they were untouchable, but Ukraine showed them that no one is safe. The Great Ambush, Ukraine's tactical masterpiece. Russian forces, confident in their numbers and technology, launched a large-scale attack on a Ukrainian village with nearly 50 vehicles and hundreds of troops. They thought they had it in the bag, another easy victory. They were wrong. Initially, Ukrainian forces appeared to retreat, but it was all part of a well-laid trap. They lured them in, like a spider luring a fly into its web. As the Russians advanced, they unknowingly entered a kill zone where Ukraine's HIMARS rocket system was waiting, and then all hell broke loose. Capable of launching 6 GPS-guided missiles in under a minute, the HIMARS system obliterated Russian forces before they even realized what had happened. It was a massacre, a complete and utter rout. The exact number of Russian casualties remains unclear, but one thing is certain. Ukraine decisively won that battle. They sent a message that day. Don't underestimate us. We will fight you to the death. Unbelievable ground combat wins. Ukraine's resilience on the battlefield has led to some truly astonishing victories. They're like a boxer who just keeps getting back up no matter how many times they get knocked down. In a brutal 24-hour period, Ukrainian forces reportedly destroyed 3 Russian air defense systems worth $15 million each, along with 14 tanks and over 1,500 troops. 1,500. That's not a battle, that's a slaughterhouse. One particularly shocking encounter saw 2 Bradley fighting vehicles take on a formidable Russian T-90 tank, a weapon Putin once called the world's most advanced battle tank. The odds were stacked against them, but they didn't care. They were fighting for their lives, for their country. Despite the odds, the Bradleys ambushed the T-90, unleashing rapid-fire shots that left it engulfed in flames. It was like watching a pride of lions take down an elephant. The seemingly impossible had happened. A heavily armored Russian tank had been taken down by lighter, more agile American-made vehicles. David had slain Goliath. In another dramatic engagement, a Ukrainian Leopard 2 tank lay in wait as a convoy of Russian tanks unknowingly drove into an ambush. They were sitting ducks. One by one, the Ukrainian tank fired upon them, creating chaos among the Russian ranks. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. As panic set in, Russian soldiers abandoned their tanks and fled, leaving their prized armored vehicles to be destroyed. They chose humiliation over death. Can you blame them? The retaking of Snake Island. Perhaps one of Ukraine's most symbolic victories came with the recapture of Snake Island. It was a small island, but it held immense strategic importance. In the early days of the invasion, Russian forces seized this key strategic location, cutting off Ukraine's ability to export grain. They thought they had dealt a fatal blow to the Ukrainian economy. They were wrong. But 2 months later, Ukraine struck back. They didn't forget. They didn't forgive. Using a combination of deception and firepower, Ukrainian forces lured the Russian flagship Moskva closer to shore before launching a devastating missile attack. It was a trap, and the Russians walked right into it. The ship, once the pride of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, was sunk, marking one of Ukraine's most significant naval victories. The Moskva, gone, sunk to the bottom of the Black Sea. It was a blow from which the Russian Navy may never recover. Outro: the future of this war. Ukraine's ability to innovate, adapt, and strike back against a seemingly superior enemy has rewritten the rules of modern warfare. From makeshift drones to record-breaking combat missions, they've proven that determination and strategy can overcome even the most advanced military forces. What comes next in this war remains uncertain. But if history has shown us anything, it's that Ukraine isn't backing down anytime soon. Stay tuned, because this battle is far from over.